planning on re-signing him? Because that was one of the theories that was floated out there, was that I don't know why they cut him, but they needed to make a roster spot or something, and they were planning on re-signing him in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever when he heals. But now, from what you're saying, that might not happen.
It wouldn't shock me if it goes either way, because, you know, I'll anticipate another question. If I were them, I would not, because I'm not a win-now team, I would not make some kind of crazy move like next week to try to go, let's get Amari Cooper in here.
Or Des Bryant.
Yeah, to me, again, I know this isn't popular with the fans, I don't think the weapons are the problem. Listen, I think the problem is, and this is every rookie, and maybe even Luck. I mean, I won't lie to you guys. I'm not John Gruden when he's not coaching and Ron Jaworski. I haven't gone back and looked at every one of Andrew Luck's passes as a rookie. But Darnold's one problem now is he doesn't scan the field. Guys, if you look at just look at the tape. Check the tapes. You look at his tape, and almost every pass, he's just looking. That's why the picks come.
Yeah, he's locked in. He's locking
in the guys and staring them down. He's not. And I also think that's frustration with other receivers is, guess what? If you're the third read on a pass play, good luck with him getting to you.
Right. But then it's also up to the receiver to sell that to a defense.
That's true. No, that's true. But you wonder, and again, I'm not saying it's all his fault, Darnold's fault, but I got to wonder though how much verve you run your route with, how much vim and vigor. Here's some more V words for you.
Vim and vigor.
If you know, hey man, unless I'm flashing a neon sign that I'm open, this guy's never going to get to his third or fourth read. Whereas Tom Brady, you have to look alive because, you know, he could look anywhere.
Right, exactly.
Again, it's an all-time great.
But that's part of the process, though, and that's something we've talked about on the show more than once. And I've used Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, especially Carson Wentz, as the examples. Their first years, both of them, neither one of them was all that good. But year two, Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate before he tore his ACL. So, and I'm not predicting that Sam Darnold is going to go through a similar progression, but you need that year of apprenticeship or whatever you want to call it. But the learning on the job part of it, you can't force that. That needs to be learned. It needs to be experienced. Every player needs to have the game kind of slow down in his head, because when you're a quarterback and you get thrown into the NFL, I can't even imagine what that must be like with all of these guys swarming around you, and you got to feel like you have no time at all to do anything. You need that time to slow things down, and then you can be an effective player.
You just hit it on the head, Tim, is that, to me, again, I mean, we're not even quite halfway through the season, but it will be a key off-season for him, because right now what's happening, I think, is just like any sport, baseball too, with, wow, he can hit the fastball. Okay, let's start throwing on breaking balls.
Right.
People are looking at the Jets now that they have a lot more of a book, a lot more film on Darnold and what the Jets are doing. And if you notice, they're starting to sit on those bubble screens. They're sitting on those bootlegs right that they always run. They're sitting on a lot of their favorite pet plays, and now it's going to be on him and offensive coordinator Jeremy Bates, who's the OC is so important.
Oh, yeah.
With a rookie quarterback, with any quarterback. QB, especially a rookie, it's up to Darnold and Bates now to start adjusting their game to match what the defenses are doing.
Now, I'll ask you to put on your GM cap for a minute. If you're Mike McCagnon, so put down the coffee. Is a wide receiver your definite priority in round one of the next draft? You talked about the weapons, but to me, I think the Jets need to get at least one really elite level receiver, be it free agency or the draft or something. But to me, Robbie Anderson is only the real main target, and I guess Curse is a pretty decent target. But I want that that superstar wide receiver that is going to be a guy who makes defenses take notice of him, and I don't know that the Jets have that guy right now.
Just give me the damn ball.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this. I mean, it's a fair point there. I mean, I don't want to ever reach in the first round, because I think when you reach, you do stuff like just to pivot real quick. Not that I'm an expert on them, but look at the Giants. They reach for a left tackle a couple of years ago, and they get Eric Flowers. How'd that work out?
Yeah, poorly.
But I know what you're saying, and I do feel like, Kurtz to me is a nice number 2 receiver, and probably Anderson as a number 1 is he. And don't get me wrong, I think he's a talent, but let's face it, he's kind of a bit of a string bean. I mean, physically, and you saw yesterday, if you're going to throw up jump balls to him, 50-50 balls. Almost like soccer.
Right.
But you throw up 50-50 balls, he's not going to win all of them because he's not a physical receiver like some of the ones we've mentioned. You know what I mean? He's not one of those guys. So you're right. I mean, maybe not the first round, but definitely in the early rounds, I would be looking for a guy, like you said, someone who's a big-time guy, a big-time wideout who will make the quarterback better. But that's also a slippery slope, too. You don't want to do too much of that because look at how a team like the Titans is just always, okay, we got to get a new coordinator. We got to get more wide receivers. And guess what? I just don't think Mariota's the guy.
Well, I mean, the other thing about Robbie Anderson, and I've said this on the show before. In fact, I think I said it 2 weeks ago. This guy, to me anyway, is one arrest away from being off the team. I mean, this is not a guy who's stable off the field.
I know, but I think the last thing, I mean, I wouldn't say you can't say, he didn't do it, but he was definitely exonerated. So,
okay. All right. So fair enough.
Again, and let's face it, we all know, I mean, again, we go back, and believe me, I'm not comparing Robbie Anderson to him, but we all know, rest his soul, the late Steve Howe. If you're talented, you get more chances. You know what I mean?
Course.
If you're a nobody, you're gone. But no, you're right. But the thing is, he's more of a speed guy. I mean, to me, I don't want to be putting that guy in too many positions where he's going to get creamed because, to me, he'd be susceptible, to injury because he just is not a big, well put together guy.
Right.
We're talking with JP Pelzman, who's the Jets beat writer at Forbes.com. Just go to Forbes.com and do a search on JP Pelzman. You see all the articles JP has been writing.
Correct.
JP, what was with the green pants yesterday with the Jets? I hate this crap where the NFL does this to, I don't know what it is, but it just looked horrible watching these guys playing in green pants. It just, I don't know. That's just something I'd wanted to say. You don't have to comment on it. One thing I did want to comment is a previous article you wrote for Forbes talking about how Sam Darnold has become the marketing face, so to speak, for the New York Jets. Not just the face on the field, but the marketing guy, too. Would you like to comment on what the Jets have been doing with Darnold as their marketing guy?
Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, the other thing, just to answer your other question, Rob, is that was a marketing thing. I mean, they brought out kind of those like Thursday night type color rush,
it's horrible.
Uniforms because yesterday was Marvel Comics Day.
Oh God,
well, nice.
So they were honoring the Hulk.
Yeah, well, they weren't strong, were they?
And
they needed
guess
the Hulk
what?
out.
He was supposed to be facing Thor because the Vikings were in town.
Well, Thor kicked their ass. Okay.
So it wasn't even Noah Syndergaard. But,
so the Jets were supposed to be the Hulk, yeah? So they played like David Banner instead.
Well, yeah, there wasn't a lot of Smash Mouth in there, was there?
No, there was no Smash Mouth.
Yeah, no.
No smash game. The running game was terrible, and Darnold threw 3 interceptions.
And that's the other thing. Again, I don't want to make it all about Darnold, but even though the stats didn't look so bad for Minnesota's running, so great for Minnesota's running game,
right.
There were a lot of plays where, especially late, where they got gashed through the middle because, again, I think to me, if I had been on with you guys in the preseason, I would have said, let's let the kids sit for a few games and watch.
That's what I said.
That's what I said. My thing early in the preseason was to start Teddy Bridgewater, and I don't know what the ramifications would have been if they would have cut McCown, but I said let's start Teddy Bridgewater, let him start a few games, and then trade him because you could probably get more for him that way. I still say they could have gotten more than the 3rd round pick for him, but that's my own own opinion.
Well, no, that's a good point, Tim, because think about it. Maybe they get a little more if they wait for a team like the 49ers to have Garoppolo go down.
Right. Somebody's going to get hurt always.
But you know what? Again, we can get the Forbes aspect into this. Is the fact that McCown was guaranteed $5 million, Bridgewater was guaranteed over $1 million.
Right.
It's the economy.
Yeah, and that's a lot of times. I mean, McCown had a good season last year. Don't get me wrong. I certainly don't begrudge the guy anything. But to me, and I said this weeks ago on the show, when they traded him, I thought the Giants should have made that move because you would have had your successor for Eli all in the bag, all for a third-round draft pick, which what was Davis Webb, a third-round draft pick, and he never took a snap.
No, that's a great idea.
Could have solved some issues.
If I were, I mean, again, this is a kind of a tangent, but still it involves the guys we're talking about. If I were saying, and they're definitely a win now team. I mean, the Jaguars benched Blake Bortles yesterday.
Yeah.
I would say, what the hell? Let me go get Josh McCown for the rest of the season, see if he can get me through, and then I figure out something in the off season.
It wouldn't be much worse than Blake Bortles, that's for sure.
And he was pretty. He was. As a famous radio host would say, he was halfway decent last year, McCown. But yeah, I just felt like I would have liked to have seen Darnold just watch for a little bit because I think a tough thing, guys, was, and the Jets kind of, I think, they didn't use this as an excuse, but they certainly pointed to it afterward. But, I mean, 3 games in 11 days to start the season.
Right.
I mean, that's
a
a rough deal for anybody, let alone a rookie.
Yeah, it's a lot. And yeah, even if you want him to start, he wouldn't have had to necessarily start all of those games. Give whoever the backup is, give him one game.
Yeah, but getting back to what Rob just asked me about, yeah, I think a lot of it was marketing. Let's put it this way. Again, I'm not trying to be a tinfoil hat conspiracy guy, but one of the things I covered for Forbes.com was they have an event every year for the media in August where they preview what they're going to do on game day, the food, the entertainment, and they mentioned this Marvel thing, of course. Well, guess what? There was like a little video about the team that they showed, right?
Okay.
Do you want to guess the one quarterback that was mentioned in that video?
Oh, I'm sure it was Darnold.
Exactly.
The future.
Yep.
Because chances are McCown won't be on the team next year,
nope.
and who knows who the backup will be next year.
That is a great question, but it's funny how many times you look at the TV. I'm sure you guys notice it when you watch the games. They're showing McCown all the time. It's like this whole mentoring thing.
Oh, that was the shot of the day yesterday. I mean, I was doing the game at CBS yesterday, so I watched every play, every second, and all they showed on the sidelines was McCown constantly talking to Darnold.
Yep.
But that was more because Darnold kept going 3 and out.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, McCown's a competitor like anybody else. I'm sure he'd rather be on the field.
Right.
But you know what? To make $10 million, $5 million guaranteed for mentoring,
Thank you.
Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. I'll sign up for that.
I still think that maybe
wear my hat backwards.
Maybe
and hold
not
the
next game, but the game after, when the season's not going to matter anymore. Let McCown get in there. Let Darnold watch a couple of things.
Well, but at this point,
because the season's going to be over in about 2 weeks.
But at this point,
if the Jets lose, their next 2 games.
But at this point, Darnold is becoming more comfortable. So now you let him play. But again, I mean, I still think there's a little bit of work that needs to be done offensively. And the Jets have been saying all season that this is a team that's built on a running game. And yesterday, there was another game where the running game never showed up. You're not going to play Denver every week.
Well, the offensive line, I mean, it's been, some people have ripped it. I don't know if that's fair, but it's been, let's put it this way, it's been inconsistent at best. You look at games, like you said, with Denver, where you have Crowell rushing for 219 yards, and you look at yesterday, and there's hardly a hole to be found. But I agree with you, Tim, no offense, Rob. To me, at this point, if they do, let's say they do lose at Chicago and at, I believe, Miami, if you're 3-6, then you know what? You might as well ride it out.
Yeah.
You might as well ride it out and just let them chalk up the year to experience and let the kid keep going and just have him just keep piling up the experience, and you hope it pays off next year and in the future.
Right, because if a situation was reversed, and let's say it was McCown or Teddy Bridgewater who was starting, if you got to 3-6. Then everybody is saying, "Hey, put Darnold in. We got nothing to lose."
That's how I agree with that.
So you might as well just let him ride it out and start the rest of the game. Because, like I said, you can't force the experience. And every snap he takes and every play he makes is all going into his memory banks, and it's all saying that, all right, now the game is slowing down. The game is slowing down.
I just don't want him to get hurt.
Well, no, I agree with Rob there. If it gets to the point where you think they would have a David Carr with the Houston Texans situation.
Right.
That's a different story.
But
he's just getting punch drunk.
Is he? I mean, he's not. I didn't notice that yesterday. It didn't seem to me like he was. I mean, he was getting pressured, yes, but it didn't seem like he was getting, hit that much. I don't know. Maybe you saw it differently. I don't know.
No, not at all, Tim. One thing you're exactly right. One thing again, I know it's it's a bar it takes about a 2-foot leap over. But the thing about Darnold that has